is gone and hope is sure. Christ is mine forevermore.
A Korean Han. And he's put clothes on today, so that's good. As he prepares to share his grace story. And James Han is the pastor of Redeemer Presbyterian Church in Los Angeles, and a dear, dear friend. And we're so happy that he's going to share his grace story. So let's invite him up now. Reverend Han.
This really is it right here. I want to thank Paul for coming. Right when I got to give my grace story, because I'm going to just jack this all up. Right, seriously in every way, because I'm a train wreck. I'll tell you right now. I'm the ultimate train wreck you're ever going to meet in your entire life. But I got to seize the moment right now because, I can't believe I'm actually standing and I'm actually doing this, because I remember when my very first PCA, Pastor Henry Coe, and we did a long time ago. Joshua Lee spoke, Pastor Joshua Lee, and he's a mentor to me and to Owen's cousin, I'm Owen's uncle, and he got up there and said, I have no idea what to talk about when it comes to church planning. I don't know how to do it. I don't know why they asked me to talk about it. I was like, you crazy. I was like, what? You're telling us you don't know how to church plan, you're up there. And I feel like I'm in the same place today. I'm like, what? You're asking me to do something that is absolutely unreal. But I hope that my story will be an encouragement to you. They say that they save the best for last, but today is not the case. I'm telling you right now, they saved the worst for last, because they thought everyone's going to be tired, no one's going to be here. You know what? James, why don't you give me a reach out? You'll show up, man. But I'm really a train wreck. And everyone knows that I'm a train wreck, but at the same time, I'm reminded of God's mercy and God's grace in my life. God has graciously allowed me to be the pastor of my church 17 years. I planted my church right next to Beverly Hills 17 years ago called Redeemer Presbyterian Church. And it's been a wonderful journey. That's what I want to share with you a little bit about my journey and what God has done for me. And I hope that it will be an encouragement to you, because if you feel like a train wreck, then maybe there's hope, because I'm standing here today. And I don't know how long this is going to last. I don't know what God is doing. Nothing else. But me being where I am, I don't know. But my story is a story of grace. Because all my friends, Harold, Owen, Alex, they'll just tell you, and Lloyd will tell you, you are just a nightmare. You are just like a whirlwind, right? It's here today, gone tomorrow. It's all over the place. That's why I love them, because they receive a loser like me all the time in their presence. I really do. Because I'm not like them. They are my heroes. They're my friends, and I respect them with the utmost. And so let me just tell you a little bit of my story. My church God's church is truly a story of grace in 17 years. I'm the last dude you could ever imagine be at one place for 17 years. I'm the flakiest friend, right? I'm the most guy. I used to do campus ministry. I love doing campus ministry because every 4 years, all the people you hate are gone. Right? You get new people, so you can use your sermon illustration over and over again. They're awesome. Yeah. 17 years, they know everything about you. There's nowhere to hide, right? I heard that before. I heard that before. Hear it again, I don't care, right? That's how it is. It's just real. That's the best way. So understand how my church began, and I think this is kind of a story that how it's all going to begin. What happened was I was at a KM church, and I was doing ministry. My first call after my youth ministry experience when I got ordained, and the day I got hired, the senior pastor I quit. So I was there doing EM. I was doing a children's ministry with about 150 kids, 80 EM, and I was doing a Awana for 150 people. So I was doing all that, and then 2 years later, when I was on a short-term mission team, the senior pastor found my replacement behind my back. Just jacked me like no other, right? When I was doing 150 children, 150 Awana, and I was doing 80 adults, right? I was doing everything, right? And behind my back. So I was devastated, crushed. My first call, I had a good friend named Ben Shin say, hey, I'm going to get you a job. Give me a what? Ministry job? Okay, fine. No, I'm going to get you a job. I said, what do you mean give me a job? He got me a job as a banker. Okay, at a banker at a Christian credit union, right? And that credit union supported MPW, and they did stuff with, we did the Redeemer Presbyterian Church building project. That's what I got to do. But in the meantime, while I was able to do that, it allowed me to have a job, and so that when the time came for me to plant, What happened was I went to another church, great story, second church I go to, I get there, the church split as soon as I get there. I was like, what the heck, right? Pastor and elder to fight. So the EM followed the senior pastor, and the EM pastor resigned to go to Wheaton. And then I was left over. I just got married. The church is going crazy, right? I said, this is not healthy for our marriage, so I resigned. And then what happened was 20 people said, hey, James, do you ever think about starting a church? And I said, what do you mean? Let's try this. Okay, let's do it. No vision, no idea what the heck we're doing. Let's do it. Okay, let's do it. That is it. This is it. Right, this is the moment, right? Let's just do it. That's literally how it started. We had no name. Okay, and we kind of threw names out there: Remnant, Redeemer. I wanted Grace Covenant Chapel, Pathfinder. The name we used for 6 months was the last name we chose, right? It was Redeemer. I said, don't call it Redeemer. This is 17 years ago, right? And that was the beginning. The only reason why we were able to start that was because I got that job. Because that first year, there was no support, right? We just did this blind. But that job would not have come about if I didn't have that worst experience as a minister at that church. God redeemed that moment, prepared me for that moment to begin my church. And that's the story of our church. Because here's the thing, the very first year when I planted, my worship leader killed somebody. That's right? What? That's it, this is it. And in my first year, my worship leader kills his loan shark. Look, I'm not making it up. And it's absolutely devastating at that moment. We tried to help the brother. He confessed that he had a gambling addiction. Actually we helped him get rid of that debt with that loan shark. But yet he was addicted. And I was a 30-year-old pastor planting a church. I had no idea what the heck I was doing and how to deal with that. And how to minister to that. And yet God somehow worked in that moment. Yeah, he's spending his life without parole. His family stayed with us for 15 years, remained married with his daughter at our church. And yet it was a powerful testimony of God's grace. And you know what's funny? Because that horrible moment probably did more in that 1 year for our church than any other moment. That's what probably kept us alive for that whole time. In that moment. And that's why my wife, at one time, I was looking back at my emails. In 2010, I sent an email to Pastor Dr. Johnson, a professor, seminary friend, mentor to me. And my wife was mentioning how our church has violated every 10 commandment to the nth degree. There's just been brokenness all over our church. You know, that's why there was a song by Elevation Worship. It's called Do It Again. I'm not sure if you guys know that song. But that song has been something that's so powerful to me. This is what it says. Your promise still stands. Great is your faithfulness. Faithfulness, I'm still in your hands. This is my confidence. You've never failed me yet. And God hasn't failed me. You see, not only that, a couple years ago, about 4 years ago, we had a kid who fell out of a 3-story window, landed on his head. Landed on his head, right? I was on the way to church, landed on his head, was surviving for his life. And when you see the x-ray, he should have died. And how devastating that was for our church. And we were praying and praying. And at that moment, while I was in that emergency room, I didn't go to church that day. I just straight to the hospital. People were mourning. I got to the hospital, and they were seeing a neurosurgeon. I said, hey, I met a neurosurgeon just a week ago at our church. So I called up the neurosurgeon and said, I know you don't know our church that well, but he was at a Chicago Cub game. We had a kid who fell out of a 3-story window. Landed on. We prayed like we never prayed before. And the kid survived. And God provided that neurosurgeon. And God has worked in the midst of that kid. And that kid today is still walking. No, he can't walk normal. Yeah, he's blind in one eye, but he's walking. He's living. Just yesterday, we celebrated the 1-year birthday of a child that died 6 months ago, that just died 3 months ago. It was his birthday yesterday. 6-month-old child. Devastated us at our church. And I was ministering to the family, and I was like, what the heck, how are we going to do this? And a couple of weeks later, what happens after the child dies? Guess what? His father, the baby's grandfather, was just diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. It's like wave upon wave upon wave. And to the point where that church member said to us, hey, I'm not sure that this will not happen again. And when he said that, I thought about all that our church has gone through. wave after wave. My assistant pastor, in our 8th year of our ministry, his wife died of breast cancer. He was here with Danny Chong. Died of breast cancer, right? Our friend, and it was such a powerful moment for us. And that was so hard for me. I'll tell you a funny story about that. She was dying. I was the last guy to see her outside of her family. I was so nervous to see her because she was my friend. I say to her, and she's sitting there, and I said to her, "Hey Maria, what are you dying to do?" She's dying! I said to her, "What are you dying to do?" That's how train wreck I am. I'm a train wreck. And they're looking at me like, "What did you say?" What are you dying to do? When I was sitting with that 6-month-old, when that child died, the 6-month-old child, I was there at the house when we got the phone call that the child died. You don't know at that moment, and you are at the mercy of God's grace. We had so many people die at our church, babies, infants. See, when I was your young guy, you don't know what that's like to see a family lose a 6-month-old child. You don't know what it's like to see a kid fall in a 3-story window. You don't know what it's like to see your assistant pastor's wife die of breast cancer. You almost feel like you're a curse at the end of the day. You almost feel like you haven't prayed enough at the end of the day. But God has never failed me yet. He's been faithful, and He has endured in spite of all our weaknesses, my weaknesses. At the same time, as my friend, as Dad's parent was saying, how come all these bad things happen to me? I always said to myself, why does all these good things happen to me? In my 17 years, I've experienced God's grace in such a powerful way. In my 5th year of ministry, I want to tell you how important good friends are. I'm so grateful for Julius and Lloyd and Owen and Alex and Harold. They're my friends. In my 5th year of ministry, some of the guys called me up and said, "James, we need to talk to you." All right, let's go hang out. All right, so we go hang out. We bring in our office. I think it was James Kim's office. He goes, "James, we're concerned about you." I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, we're hearing that you're so busy speaking everywhere that you don't spend time for your church." Right. And then Joel Kim asked me a very fundamental question that just rocked my world. He said, "James, are you dating the church or are you married to the church?" I was like, "I hate you." And I think because of that, the church is still here. Because I stopped doing all that craziness. But he had the courage, and then my friends had the courage to call me up and call me out and speak into my life like that. I was so blessed. That's why yesterday they were asking a good friend. That's a good friend, right? At the same time, God has blessed us, our church. I've been at our elementary school for 15 years. We used an elementary school in our church for 15 years. Awesome. At the same time, we started our second site 8 years ago. We have a multi-site, we started 8 years ago. And I thought, we had 12 families that lived in that city at our church that lived about 45 minutes away from LA. I thought, okay, we're going to start with the 12 families. Only one family came. Total disaster. Right? Total disaster. But God has never failed me yet. And I knew this had to be because the place that we're using in our second site, our current site, is a beautiful facility. And do you know how much we pay? $300 a month. God just provides. God has never failed me yet. And people have come and people have gone, and God has never failed me yet, you know? And that's why I'm standing here, you know, and I'm thinking to myself, how long will this last? I don't know. But no matter what the future holds, I know that God will not fail me. He is never, because I'm safe in His hands. And I love that. And that's why throughout my life, I want to encourage you that in those moments, that God has blessed you. And that enjoy those moments, whether they're hard or they're good, because in those moments, God has never failed us yet. Lamentation chapter 3 says this in 22 and 23. This steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. Amen. So if this train wreck here can still be around, it is hard. Because I have good friends who have protected me, who have supported me, even in that moment itself. It never ends. The trials never end. But God's faithfulness never ends as well. That's my story. I'm not here to tell you my techniques or what I got through this. I just, because of God's faithfulness. And because of that faithfulness, I'm a train wreck. I try things. I do things. That's why I'm so hyper. I'm almost 50 years old, by the way. I know I look 21. I get it. I'm almost 50. But that's my story. So, thank you so much.
Rejoice now, oh my soul, for his love is my reward. Fear is gone and hope is sure.